After much commotion and outcry, Isabella finally accepted the fact that there was another presence within her body. Thanks to my elaborate persuasion, she truly believed that I was a celestial envoy from another world, who had accidentally taken over her body. I never actively controlled her body, I merely existed within her consciousness, watching her greet Edward and Catherine daily, then return to her residence to stare out the window in a daze.
Princess, what are you daydreaming about?
Henry has been away in the south for over a month now, and there's been no news. I'm a bit worried.
Henry, Henry, always Henry. Why does she have to mention Henry's name 800 times a day?
Henry is blessed and will naturally overcome any difficulties.
Anna, since you are a celestial envoy, can you protect him?
Celestial envoys have different ranks. I am of the lowest rank, otherwise, why would I be trapped in your body?
Isabella pouted, seemingly convinced, and said no more.
Princess, instead of waiting for him every day, why not find something to do?
But apart from waiting for him, I don't want to do anything else.
I sighed in exasperation. Well, she is a princess after all, and she is about to get married. Waiting for her future husband to return seems quite reasonable. However, as I watched her counting the days with a smile, waiting for Henry to return to the capital, I couldn't shake off a growing sense of unease. The princess was once again lost in her thoughts.
Princess, instead of waiting for him every day, why not find something to do?
But apart from waiting for him, I don't want to do anything else.
I sighed deeply. She is a princess, after all, and she is about to get married. Waiting for her future husband to return seems quite reasonable. Yet, as I watched her counting the days with a smile, a sense of unease grew within me. Given Henry's status, he was merely a minor official of the 5th rank, hardly worthy of becoming a prince consort. Who would have thought that the newly of age Princess Isabella would fall for him at first sight and then plead with Edward for this marriage? Otherwise, with Henry's family background, he would never have had any connection with the royal family. I sighed deeply. Though I come from a modern era where everyone is born equal, without distinctions of rank or status, according to the rules of this time, if it weren't for Isabella's plea, Henry would never have climbed to the position of prince consort. Yet, the way he now presents himself is so unaware of his place. And Isabella, as a princess, should not have to humble herself to appease him.
What do you mean by that? Is the princess now beginning to think my status is too low and that I offend you?
No, that's not it at all.
I spoke calmly through Isabella's voice, my gaze turning stern.
Indeed, it was your appearance that initially attracted me. But let me remind you, Prince Consort, do not forget who provided the funds for your journey south.
For instance, Miss Lily's attire must be made from the finest silk in the capital, right? A healer from Jiangnan could hardly afford such luxury. Whose money was used? A flash of malice and resentment crossed Henry's face.
If you truly have the ability, then travel the world on your own merits and buy clothes for your beloved with your own money. I will not stop you.
Your Highness, how can you humiliate me like this?
Ignoring Isabella's attempts to stop me, I continued to pierce his heart.
How have I humiliated you? You can mock my lavish lifestyle and ignorance of worldly matters, but I can't speak the truth? Is this the demeanor of a prince consort? Anna, that's enough.
Isabella weakly tried to stop me, as if on the verge of tears.
If you speak to him like this, he might never speak to me again.
You are a princess. There are plenty of good men out there, why settle for such an arrogant and selfish man?
He saved my life.
I almost wanted to poke her forehead. He saved your life, but you gave him wealth and luxury he had never experienced. It's a fair trade, if you ask me. It's because you keep yielding to him that he has the audacity to meet other women and flaunt it in front of you." Isabella's eyes reddened, as if she was about to cry again. I realized that at her age, in modern times, she would just be a young girl, so I softened my tone. "Princess, I understand. You grew up in the palace, and your personal maids and attendants only taught you how to be kind to servants, filial to your parents, how to get along harmoniously with your husband, and manage the household. But no one ever taught you how to respond when faced with betrayal."
But if Henry really takes that woman as a concubine?
I interrupted her. "He doesn't get to decide that. Don't let his confidence make you forget who should be in charge of this princess's residence. This is your home. If he dares to bring a concubine in without your permission, you can go to your father and express your grievances. He will surely stand up for you because what Henry would be offending is the dignity of the royal family."
But I know, if Henry likes her, no matter how I try to stop it, it will be useless. Just like my mother, watching as my father brought in one consort after another, yet she was powerless.
If that's the case, then you can break off the engagement with him. Henry is not worthy of you anyway. Let that Miss Lily be his legitimate wife.
But our engagement has long been set. How can I unilaterally cancel it?
If the princess is willing, there are always ways. But, princess, you need to think clearly. Is Henry really someone worth entrusting your life to? Living in constant fear, trying to snatch a bit of his affection from others, is that the life you want?
I don't know.
If he dares to treat you so poorly even before marriage, will you have any say in this residence once he moves in? Your Highness, you must first understand that you are the sole mistress of this residence. So, don't lower yourself too much. Only by standing tall and showing others that you are not a weak and easily bullied person will they respect you. A few days later, Henry, a high-ranking official, disregarded Isabella's feelings and arranged for Lily to stay at the princess's residence. Isabella hesitated, contemplating whether to voice her discomfort, but Lily knelt down gracefully, expressing her gratitude.
Thank you for allowing me to stay, Your Highness.
Henry's face remained stern, showing no intention of backing down. Lily, with her delicate posture, resembled the swaying willow branches by the lake. As Lily prepared to move her belongings into the side courtyard, Anna intervened.
Miss Lily, it seems you are not well versed in etiquette.
Isabella watched silently, contemplating Anna's words from the other day. Lily turned back, surprised, meeting Anna's cold gaze and feeling a pang of guilt. Henry, impatient, spoke up.
Your Highness, what exactly do you want?
Kneel!
What?
I said kneel! Didn't you understand?
Anna turned her head towards Lily.
And you kneel as well!
Henry had never seen Isabella so stern and intimidating. Frightened but trying to maintain his dignity, he spoke stiffly.
Your Highness, what is this about? Are you really asking your husband to kneel before you?
I am now ordering you as the legitimate princess of the Emperor. What, do you intend to defy the princess's command?
Realizing Anna was serious, Henry forced a smile.
Princess, why are you doing this?
Henry, I will ask you one more time. Will you kneel or not?
Narrowing her eyes at him, Anna exuded authority. A drop of sweat appeared on Henry's forehead, and he dared not argue further. He knelt before Anna along with Lily. Isabella gasped.
He actually knelt?
Princess, if he defies your command, you have the right to take disciplinary action.
Anna calmly explained to Isabella.
Philip and you are not yet married. His current status is still that of a fifth-rank official. Even after he becomes your husband, you will still have this right.
Isabella seemed to have discovered a whole new world. Anna sighed inwardly, wondering how overprotective Edward and Catherine must have been to raise such a naive daughter. Regaining her composure, Anna addressed Lily.
Miss Lily, your greeting to me was incorrect. Since you are new here and unfamiliar with the etiquette of the capital, let me teach you properly.
Under their astonished gazes, Anna called for the head maid in charge of teaching etiquette.
Martha, teach Miss Lily how to properly greet.
Martha, who had watched Isabella grow up, looked at Lily with eyes practically burning with anger.
I will follow the princess's orders and teach her well.
Henry spoke in panic, his voice trembling.
Princess, what are you doing?
I am teaching her the rules. Learning proper etiquette now is better than causing trouble in the future.
Lily looked tearful and pitifully at Henry as she was dragged away.
Henry.
Henry gritted his teeth, looking at Isabella in shock. He had only been away for half a year. Why had the princess, who used to be as meek as a lamb, suddenly started using her status to pressure him?
Princess.
It's just etiquette lessons. Your expression makes it seem like I'm bullying her.
Anna sipped her tea with a faint smile.
What, feeling sorry for your beloved?
Princess, are you doing this to get back at me?
Of course not.
Anna put down the teacup, her expression turning serious.
Because the real retribution is just beginning.
When the servants brought up the account books one by one, Henry's face turned pale.
I heard from your subordinates that you lived quite extravagantly when you went south, even more so than me, a princess.
Anna casually picked up a stack of account books and slowly flipped through them.
Given this, how dare Philip mock me for living in luxury and being unaware of the hardships of the people? You really know how to use the guise of caring for the people to irritate me.
As his face turned even paler, Anna flipped through a few more pages.
Sure enough, even Miss Lily's silk clothes are recorded in the princess's accounts.
Henry felt his face burning, as if he had been slapped.
I wonder if you felt guilty when you insulted me at the gate of the princess's residence upon your return?
Anna threw the account book in front of him and sneered coldly.
You eat, wear, and live off the princess's money, yet you have the audacity to bring your newfound companion into the princess's residence? Henry, you are truly despicable.
Henry's eyes were already burning with anger, his fists clenched tightly.
Your Highness, why have you changed so much? You never spoke to me like this before.
Is he trying to play the emotional card now? Anna sneered, about to continue, but Isabella, who had been silent for a long time, spoke up.
Enough, Anna.
Anna stopped in time, handing the control back to Isabella. In the grand chamber, Isabella gazed out of the window, her thoughts entangled with the days she spent waiting for Philip.
Princess, instead of waiting for him every day, why not find something to do?
But apart from waiting for him, I don't want to do anything else.
I sighed in exasperation, understanding her plight but knowing she needed a distraction. The palace gardens were quiet as Anna approached Isabella, who was staring wistfully at the horizon.
Princess, instead of waiting for him every day, why not find something to do?
But apart from waiting for him, I don't want to do anything else.
Anna sighed in exasperation, contemplating the princess's predicament.
Well, you are a princess after all, and you are about to get married. Waiting for your future husband to return seems quite reasonable.
Despite Anna's words, she couldn't shake off a growing sense of unease as she watched Isabella counting the days with a smile, waiting for Philip to return to the capital. Isabella gazed out of the tower window, her eyes fixed on the distant horizon.
Princess, instead of waiting for him every day, why not find something to do?
But apart from waiting for him, I don't want to do anything else.
I sighed in exasperation.
Well, he's your betrothed after all. Waiting for his return seems quite reasonable.
However, as I watched her counting the days with a smile, waiting for Philip to return to the capital, I couldn't shake off a growing sense of unease. I let out a deep sigh. It seems Isabella still harbors some unresolved resentment. Even after things have deteriorated with Henry, she still wants to know if her genuine feelings were misplaced.
Yes, there was. Princess, you are so noble, so beautiful. When I looked at you, I felt like I was nothing but dust. So, I became increasingly resentful until you said you wanted to marry me.
When you knew I wanted to marry you, were you happier about marrying me, or secretly delighted that you could gain wealth and status, becoming a high-ranking official?
Henry moved his lips but did not answer.
It turns out I was naive, misjudged people, and loved the wrong person. Now it seems, Henry, you are indeed unworthy of a princess like me lowering herself to marry you. You pride yourself on being noble, looking down on those in high positions, yet you want to use their power to climb higher. Essentially, you are just a despicable and arrogant hypocrite. Do you think, without the power and status I brought you, those high officials of the South would still welcome you with smiles? Would your so-called confidants still stay by your side?
Isabella's expression remained calm, not even a flicker of her brow, as she delivered the final, almost soul-crushing taunt.
Without me, you are indeed as insignificant as an ant. But all of this is your own doing.
Henry's face turned pale, and a thin layer of sweat appeared on his forehead. Judging by his expression, he was undoubtedly deeply affected by her words. His carefully hidden dark thoughts were all exposed, leaving him on the verge of collapse. Yet he couldn't resist it all. Because Isabella is a princess, no matter how rebellious he is, he doesn't dare to defy the royal family. Thinking of this, Henry regretted deeply. When Isabella was obedient to him, why didn't he cherish her? At that time, power and status were his, the position of Philip was his, and the princess was deeply in love with him. Perhaps the entire princess's residence would have been his to command in the future.
Mr. Henry, continue being your fifth-rank official. I will speak to my father to retain your position. After all, without a salary, how will you repay the princess's residence? From today onwards, we are completely severed, and have no further relationship. Mr. Henry, please leave.
In Henry's pale and regretful expression, Isabella finally reclaimed the pride that belonged to a princess.
By the way, next time you come to see me, please remember to bow, Mr. Henry.
Isabella regained her freedom, no longer bound by any engagement. She requested permission from Edward, saying she wanted to travel south and see the beautiful landscapes of our country. Edward, feeling sorry for her having to give up a satisfactory marriage, made an exception and granted her request. On the day she boarded the carriage, Isabella felt a great sense of relief.
I always thought that as long as I stayed peacefully in the princess's residence and lived well with my future husband, everything would be fine. I never imagined that I would have a day when I could leave the capital.
Princess, although Henry was not a good person, his journey south did broaden his horizons. You are wise, and you will surely do even better than he did.
What can I do? Anna, I don't know what I can do.
What you need to do is to understand the lives of the people, note down the pros and cons of various policies, and report them to Edward for improvement when you return to the capital. Don't worry, as long as you are willing to learn, I can teach you many things.
Isabella concealed her identity and temporarily settled in the south. Having grown up in the capital, everything here felt incredibly new to her. Watching the people of the south boating on the lake, planting and harvesting lotus, and working barefoot in the rice fields, she was like a child encountering new things, constantly asking me questions.
Do you like it here, princess?
Late at night, when the princess opened the window of the inn to look at the moon, I asked her.
The people here love life and live in peace and contentment. No wonder Henry was so attached to this place, it truly is a wonderful place.
Isabella was very good at learning new things. Whenever she had free time, she would ask me to explain the policies affecting people's lives. She was a diligent student, and her notes filled several large sheets of paper.
Anna, you know so much. I started my education late and was never as good at studying as my brothers. Later, father didn't let me study much, saying that it was useless for girls to read so many books.
In the distant future, girls will read as many books as boys. Moreover, girls will be able to become officials, run businesses, and choose their own husbands.
Isabella listened intently, often exclaiming in surprise.
The future sounds so wonderful.
Of course, women are not just floating duckweed, nor do they need to rely on others to live. In fact, we are stronger than anyone else, aren't we? Moreover, it is commendable that you recognized yourself and freed yourself from Henry's ingratitude.
Isabella was stunned for a long time before finally smiling.
Thank you. It makes me happy to hear you say that.
While traveling among the common folk, I never expected to encounter Lily again. Upon meeting her once more, there was no hostility between us. She was still in her clinic, dressed in white. When she saw Isabella, she was momentarily stunned and was about to kneel in greeting, but Isabella stopped her.
I haven't revealed my identity, no need for formalities.
It was then that Isabella noticed Lily's slightly swollen belly. For a moment, both of their expressions were somewhat complex.
How many months?
Over 4 months, but it's not too obvious yet.
Lily gently touched her belly and replied with a bitter smile.
Why didn't you say anything earlier? If you had, at least I wouldn't have sent you back to Jiangnan so soon.
I made up my own mind. Princess, it is I who have wronged you. I didn't want to use this child as a reason to stay in the capital.
Does Henry know?
Lily hesitated for a long time before slowly nodding.
In that case, he never mentioned it to me, not even when I sent you back to Jiangnan.
Both Isabella and I felt a surge of anger, and our tone reflected our frustration.
As you said, Henry is not someone to rely on. I'll just consider my child fatherless.
Isabella's expression was unreadable.
So, you plan to raise the child alone?
I earn quite a bit treating patients in this clinic, and many people from other places come to see me. I want to save up while I can still move around easily, so my child won't suffer in the future. This child has nothing to do with Henry, it's just my child.
Isabella didn't say anything, just looked around the clinic.
Isn't this place a bit too small and remote?
Lily looked at her, puzzled.
I've set up a herbal medicine shop on a busy street to make it easier for common people to get treatment. If you have time, would you consider helping me look after it?
Lily finally realized what Isabella was offering, and tears welled up in her eyes as she knelt before Isabella.
Thank you, Princess, for not holding a grudge and for offering to help me.
Who said I'm helping you? I just need someone to look after the shop.
Isabella stood by the window, her gaze lost in the distance.
Princess, instead of waiting for him every day, why not find something to do?
But apart from waiting for him, I don't want to do anything else.
I sighed in exasperation. She is a princess after all, and she is about to get married. Waiting for her future husband to return seems quite reasonable. However, as I watched her counting the days with a smile, waiting for Philip to return to the capital, I couldn't shake off a growing sense of unease. Isabella sat by the window, her eyes fixed on the horizon.
Princess, instead of waiting for him every day, why not find something to do?
But apart from waiting for him, I don't want to do anything else.
I sighed in exasperation, understanding her predicament. After all, she was a princess about to be married, and waiting for her future husband seemed quite reasonable. Yet, as I watched her counting the days with a smile, waiting for Philip to return to the capital, a growing sense of unease gnawed at me. Narrator, tone, serious. I searched online for information about Princess Isabella. In historical records, she is depicted as a woman of considerable thought. Narrator, tone, relieved. She brought new crop seeds to the borderlands, suggested to Edward the construction of water conservancy projects, and encouraged merchants to engage in overseas trade. Narrator, tone, relieved. The records also state that she never married, dedicated her life to the welfare of the people, and left behind many written works when she peacefully passed away. Narrator, tone, relieved. I finally felt a bit relieved. At least, she accomplished what she wanted to do. Narrator, tone, excited. As I scrolled through Isabella's biography, I suddenly discovered a letter among her family correspondences. It was vaguely written, as if speaking to an immortal, but no one had deciphered who it was addressed to. Narrator, tone, sad. When I saw the words Anna, tears welled up in my eyes. This was the letter she left for me.
Isabella, tone, hopeful. Dear Anna.
T'has been a long time since last heard your voice. Suppose your time of cultivation in the mortal world has ended, and you have long returned to the heavens? Today, write this letter, not knowing if you can see it. Recently, I often think of your earnest advice. You have been kind to me, and without you, I would never have appreciated the beauty of this vast world. For this, I am deeply grateful. To think of it, I seem to have never formally thanked you. Unfortunately, you left in such a hurry and could not continue to witness my travels. If you were still with me, seeing the beautiful scenery along the way, you would surely be delighted. Have tasted all the delicacies of Jiangnan that you once mentioned. Miss Lily saw that liked them, so she used the leftover money from her pharmacy to open a pastry shop in the bustling market. However, her son kept sneaking treats, which annoyed her so much that she closed the shop for several days. Teased her for a long time. Wonder how you are doing now. Always knew our meeting was fleeting, but never expected our parting to be so sudden. No matter, remember everything you taught me. And the heavens, you must be able to see the harmonious and prosperous life of the people now, right? If you see it, you would surely praise it. We'll continue to walk the path you spoke of. Anna, thank you. Wishing you health and peace. Isabella.
Narrator, tone, sad. The letter ended, leaving me with a bittersweet feeling.